Nothing in this podcast or on our website should be construed as medical advice. Consult your healthcare provider for your individual nutritional and medical needs. The information presented is based on our research and is strictly that of the author and not necessarily those of any professional group or other individual.
Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers. Welcome to Sue's Healthy Minutes. I'm so excited you've joined me today, and I hope this episode encourages you and allows you to find the answers you have been praying for the health of you and your family. Today on Sue's Healthy Minutes, I am recording on the porch of our lovely cabin in the beautiful mountains of Ellijay, Georgia. So you just might hear some of nature's sounds in the background. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. Today, I want to share briefly about how to boost your immune system to help prevent infections, but also share some powerful ways to help fight off a virus or other illness when one does come around. We are in the midst of what is known as cold and flu season. Contrary to popular belief, despite the fact that the cold and flu season runs from October to February, cold weather doesn't necessarily cause us to come down with a cold. Now, being chilled for a long period of time can certainly put stress on the body. However, one contribution might be the low humidity in the cold air and in our heated homes that can dry our nasal passages, making them more susceptible to cold viruses. The exact timing of the season can vary, but in the U.S., we usually begin to see increases in colds and flu in the fall around the month of October when temperatures do start to become colder. I find it interesting, though, that according to the CDC, cold and flu activity seems to really peak between December and February. I have often wondered if this peak could be attributed at all to the holiday seasons of Thanksgiving and Christmas. While the weather has turned cooler and often less enjoyable to be outside, the holidays also bring lots of indoor gatherings with family and friends, and if we are honest, an overindulgence in less than healthy food options, such as sweet treats and dietary splurges that we usually try to avoid throughout the year. Since nutrition is a key factor in supporting a healthy immune system, I don't think this idea is at all far-fetched. We all know that what we eat can affect our weight and energy levels throughout the day, but what we may not realize or even think about is the effect that our diet has on our immune system. According to Dr. David Heber, professor of medicine at UCLA Health, 70% of the immune system is located in the gut due to the work of our good gut organisms, and our diet greatly affects the diversity of the organisms that live there. Immune cells in the gut actually interact with these microorganisms to give us a strong immune system and to help prevent the overgrowth of pathogenic organisms such as viruses that cause the common cold and flu. Dr. Jonathan Jacobs, also of UCLA School of Medicine, states that the microbiome, that is our gut organisms, and the immune system are critically intertwined, and that what's present in the gut determines what education or information the immune cells get. He further stresses that dietary diversity and microbial diversity in the gut go together, and that the typical Western diet, which is high in animal proteins, sugars, processed food, and saturated fats, results in less diverse gut organisms and promotes inflammation and chronic disorders. These gut bugs, if you will, are the healthiest and support strong immunity when their host, that's us, consume foods that are high in fiber, along with an array of fermented foods. Fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, and fermented vegetables such as sauerkraut, or even fresh fruits and vegetables can keep our guts inoculated and healthy with these organisms that support our immune system. Since the food to nourish these good gut organisms is the complex carbohydrates and fiber that our own digestive system is unable to digest, fiber-rich foods support the growth and well-being of these good gut organisms and in turn reduces an inflammatory response. The fiber found in whole grains and beans, and of course, our real bread made from freshly milled flour, is the perfect food source for these critical organisms and therefore a key player in a strong immune system. These foods are the perfect tools in our war chest to ward off not just cold and flu viruses, but bacterial illnesses as well. Diet and good gut organisms go a long way in both preventing the frequency of illnesses as well as reducing the duration of an illness when we do get sick. So this is why step number 3 in my Healthy Eating Simplified program, if you want to call it that, is to eat fermented foods. Now you can learn more about this Army Within in episode number 9 of Sue's Healthy Minutes. You just might want to go back and have a listen. I'm going to share more on our good gut organisms in a later episode as well. But for now, I want to talk about what can we do when we do get sick. Even the healthy of us get run down from time to time and succumb to whatever bug that is going around. But most of us want to avoid conventional medical treatments as much as possible, and especially avoid unnecessary trips to the doctor. Interestingly enough, the common cold leads to more trips to a healthcare provider and absences from school and work than any other illness each year. The flu perhaps next. The symptoms of the cold and flu are very similar as both are caused by a virus. With the flu, you usually experience a higher fever, more often a headache, and more severe body aches than with a cold. But the runny nose, sore throat, and cough are often common symptoms with both. Since both colds and flu are caused by a virus, neither will respond to antibiotics. And while most over-the-counter medications may reduce the discomfort that often accompanies a cold or flu, they can actually increase the duration of the illness. Many cold and flu remedies contain aspirin, acetaminophen or Tylenol or ibuprofen, Advil, all of which may suppress your body's ability to produce antibodies and fight the cold or flu. And flu medications often have greater risk than effectiveness. And this is completely opposite of our goal to get better as quickly as possible. So now you may be asking, well, what can I do to help my body heal? First, get plenty of rest, drink lots of fluids, and yes, up your vitamin C intake. But also, a very effective treatment with no side effects is something called grapefruit seed extract. In the 1970s, an immunologist, Dr. Jacob Harrick, searched for a natural, non-toxic alternative to antibiotics that would help the human body resist not only bacteria, but also parasites, fungi, and viruses. He discovered this alternative in the seeds and connecting tissue of the grapefruit. Because of its ability to kill germs on contact, grapefruit seed extract was first adopted by the cosmetic industry, which used it as a preservative. The food transport industry soon found it as a useful alternative to chemicals and irradiation in the shipping of fish, grapes, and poultry. Grapefruit seed extract is now used to preserve a variety of fresh fruits and vegetables. But holistic physicians soon began experimenting with grapefruit seed extract and found it safe for internal use as well, and very effective in treating not only bacterial infections such as staph, strep, and salmonella, but also amoeba and other parasites as well. Grapefruit seed extract is also a very effective agent against yeast infections such as Candida albicans and viruses that cause, you guessed it, the common cold and flu, and fungi that cause such discomforts as athlete's foot and nail fungus. Grapefruit seed extract has also been shown to be effective in fighting sore throats, ear infections, gum disease, as well as traveler's diarrhea. According to a spokesperson for grapefruit seed extract manufacturers, and I quote, many prestigious universities and independent laboratories have tested grapefruit seed extract against more than 30 fungi, 20 bacteria, and a host of viruses and protozoa. In almost all of these cultures, grapefruit seed extract exhibited significant antimicrobial activity at very low concentrations. In fact, studies done at the University of Georgia found it to be a highly effective sanitizing agent with little or absolutely no risk of toxicity. And the good news, grapefruit seed extract is as effective taken internally as it is used externally with no adverse side effects. While some recommend taking grapefruit seed extract daily as a preventative, most healthcare providers believe that long-term daily use may disrupt the balance of our good gut organisms and therefore suggest its use only as needed and limiting treatment to 4 to 6 weeks at a time, which is completely adequate for seeing resolution to the infection being treated. And I am inclined to agree with this recommendation of using grapefruit seed extract only as needed, but the needs and the uses are abundant. And I want to share with you now just a few of the ways that I personally use it. But first, let me tell you some of its forms and how to use them. First, at Breadbeckers, we carry the Nutribiotic brand of grapefruit seed extract, better known simply as GSE. Nutribiotics GSE comes in a concentrated liquid form in both a 2-ounce and a 4-ounce bottle. Listen, it goes a long way and is very economical to use. GSE is very potent and very acidic with a pH of 2.75, so should always be diluted to use. The recommended dilution is 10 drops for adults and 3 drops for children in about 5 ounces or more of water or juice. It's bitter, so juice can make it more palatable, especially for kids. But honestly, I don't mind the taste. But sometimes I will buy fresh oranges if possible and use the juice of 1 orange with the 10 drops of GSC. It's very delicious, actually. If I am sick, whether with a cold, flu, bacterial infection, or intestinal upset, I take it usually 3 times a day for a week or more. This dilution is highly effective against Candida yeast infections, whether vaginal, systemic, as thrush in the mouth, or presenting even as an inflamed diaper rash on a baby's bottom. It can be taken both internally or used externally. For instance, for a diaper rash, I have seen it clear in just 1 application. I diluted 20 drops of grapefruit seed extract in a jar with about 8 to 10 ounces of water. I kept the solution by the changing table, and after each diaper change, I dampened a cotton ball or soft cloth with the GSE solution and patted the inflamed area with it. It is almost miraculous. Candidiasis, known commonly as a yeast infection, is caused by the overgrowth of Candida albicans, a pathogenic strain of yeast. These chronic yeast infections are actually nearly epidemic in America and most likely due to the overconsumption of processed foods and simple sugars and the overuse of antibiotics. Contrary, though, to popular belief, our yeast leavened bread made with freshly milled flour does not promote a yeast overgrowth. In fact, bread-making yeast is a good yeast gut organism that helps keep pathogenic yeast in check. Many health professionals find GSE to be more effective against chronic yeast infections than traditionally prescribed medication. In one treatment study of the 20 women treated, 15 were cured after the first treatment course. 4 of the patients needed a second treatment, and the one resistant patient needed a third round of treatment, but then also the husband was treated as well with complete resolution. Again, GSE can be a highly effective treatment option with no toxic side effects. Since GSE is highly effective as a disinfectant, I keep my bottle of GSE liquid concentrate right by my kitchen sink. Whenever I cut meat, especially chicken, after I wash my hands, cutting board and knife, I drop a few drops of GSE on my wet hands and rub together to sanitize before rinsing. I then drop 1 or 2 drops on my cutting board and knife, wipe with a damp cloth, and rinse. The effectiveness of GSE and its varied uses cannot be overstated. That is one reason Nutribiotics has actually developed a complete line of GSE-based products. I'll put links to some of my favorite Nutribiotic GSE products in the podcast description. Of course, first off is the GSE liquid concentrate, either the 2-ounce or the 4-ounce. And like I said, it goes a long, long way. But the GSE throat spray is a must to have on hand. At the first sign of a sore throat, I start spraying several times a day, and I never travel without it. It is more than just a numbing agent. It combines the healing power of GSE with zinc and other healing herbs and menthol to support healthy conditions in the mouth and the throat. And as an added bonus, it freshens the breath as well. That's the Nutribiotics GSE throat spray. The GSE eardrops contain both GSE and tea tree oil, both known for their antibiotic properties. It is soothing as well as effective. For convenience, and especially when traveling, Nutribiotics has several encapsulated GSE products that we carry. Regular GSE capsules contain 250 milligrams of GSE, which is equivalent to 25 drops of the liquid in each capsule. They also make a GSE Plus capsule, which includes echinacea, and their Defense Plus capsule contains other defense nutrients and herbs such as echinacea, astragalus, vitamin C, mushroom extracts, golden seal, and ginger root. We also carry the line of Nutribiotics personal care products using GSE as the base. The shower gel, deodorant, and mouthwash are all amazing. The household and personal care uses of GSE are endless. Whether it be odor-causing organisms or illness-causing ones, grapefruit seed extract can be a highly effective yet non-toxic choice for overcoming any of these invaders. So in this cold and flu season, a focus on a healthy diet of whole grains, fresh fruits and vegetables, along with fermented foods, and of course, real bread to keep our gut organisms happy and healthy can go a long way to help protect us from these unwelcome viruses and other infections. But if these unwelcome guests do show up, we have a potent but non-toxic weapon against them in grapefruit seed extract. No home should be without GSE. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of Sue's Healthy Minutes and that it helps you in your fight against any virus or bacterial infection or illness that comes to you and your family. Until next time, this is Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minutes.
Sue's Healthy Minutes podcast has been a presentation by the Bread Beckers Incorporated located in Woodstock, Georgia. For more information, store hours, and learning opportunities, visit breadbeckers.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. Share this with 2 friends who would benefit from this information, and be sure to join us again next week for more of Sue's Healthy Minutes.